Okay, Vivian, this is exercise, your exercise 4 work in Marcom. I will say that the first exercises, exercise 1, 2, and 3, we're talking about lecture 4 in Marcom, were very, very good. Did them perfectly. I didn't see any problem whatsoever. And the feedback lecture, I believe, also would confirm that, so you can look that over yourself. And now I'm just concentrating on what you've written for the 4th exercise, thinking of creative copy, and the 5th one, which is doing the copy for CMAP. Okay, so let's start with this one. This one is on WinZip, and it's okay. Okay, you did actually a pretty good job, but let me just show you where you could improve it somewhat. There are places here that you kind of write in a way that's, let's say, a bit what I would call almost flat, you know, in other words, lacking the kind of excitement and the increase of, let's say, emotion that you want to try to bring out from the reader, okay, for a Marcom piece. So, for example, WinZip features a standard Windows point-and-click drag and drop interface. That's okay. And then you continue. This increases ease of use when viewing, running, extracting. You know, this kind of statement or continuation of this kind of continuation of the previous statement is a bit of a downturn, kind of. You know, in other words, you need to write in a way that brings out the value of what you just said in a much more exciting way. Okay, this is almost what you've written here is almost like a technical writing piece. You know, A is true, and therefore, you know, you're drawing a conclusion. This increases ease of use when viewing. You know, kind of sleeping. Okay, how could we rewrite that in a way that's more exciting? Well, let me show you. Okay, this is how I revised it a bit. Okay, it says something like this. I put the result: ordinary compression tasks, viewing, running, extracting, adding, deleting, or testing files become virtually effortless. Okay, now actually after I wrote that, I realized that you would also use the word effortless down here. So I'm not even sure if you need this last sentence here, because after you've already said this last sentence is a little bit like, you know, mutar, as they say. I mean, it's not really needed. Okay, but you see what I've done here. In other words, I tried to perk it up a bit. Something saying this increases ease of use. You know, ease of use is a very, very kind of a passive. It's not exactly the thing that makes people excited. It's the expression ease of use. You know? Another one here. Although WinZip demands little of the user. Again, I don't know if you really want to put the user in here. Just like we said in technical writing, the user doesn't really have a place. Here also, I think that the expression the user is not that great when you're trying to sell somebody something directly. And then you go on. It is, however, an extremely effective and efficient tool. Again, this is a kind of a formalistic and a bit of a stuffy way of putting something. Okay, let's see how we might want to revise this particular sentence. Okay, here's how I revise this thing. Okay, instead of saying, although WinZip demands little of the user, it is, however, an extremely effective and efficient tool. All this is a bit low-key and kind of, you know, using things like the user and that type of stuff. Here I put like this. But don't let WinZip's simple interface fool you. Underneath the hood is it should be an and. Underneath the hood is an extremely powerful and versatile file compression tool. Something like that. I'm not sure if this is exactly the way I would put it. I can think of even better ways, but I like putting things like powerful and versatile. Those are two words that people like to see, and it kind of push certain emotional buttons in people reading for this kind of stuff. I put, instead of saying, although it demands little of the user, we just directly address the reader. But don't let WinZip's simple interface fool you. If you want to change simple interface to something even better, you know, like easy to use, or I don't know exactly what you want to say here. You know, and then underneath the hood, there's kind of an analogy which is used oftentimes for describing what's underneath you know, the interface, what's behind the interface, and so it, you know, it has the connotation of a powerful motor. Opening up the hood of a car and then seeing something really powerful under there. But that can also be good, something like that. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. I'm just saying that you could perk this up by substituting something like that. By the way, some of your other stuff is really good. For example, what you put here, added to this, WinZip ensures a smooth ride. So you've used also the analogy of a car, and I like that. It's really good. Okay, here the problem here is that this either your sentence or my revision here is an introduction to what's to come, but you have to kind of bridge that. You can't just start in. You can effortlessly use it to send, and you'd want to put something here, another sentence, or even just a phrase. For example, okay, even that would be okay. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Or you could get a little bit more Marcom-y and say something like, here's some of the things that you can do, or yeah, something like that. Or here's what WinZip can do for you, and then go into all the details. Okay, here I try to jazz this up a bit here, this middle part. Okay, here again, I just added some little things like wide range of popular. Wherever you can kind of amplify some of the things, it's good to do so without going overboard. But I mean, or here you put the RAG, LZH, and ARC compression formats are supported via external programs. That's kind of a very factual statement that doesn't imply much excitement. In fact, it kind of almost detracts, because it's saying that, well, WinZip needs an external program to do what it does. So instead, I kind of revised it. It even supports the RAG, LZH, and ARC compression formats via external programs. So that makes it sound like, wow, it even does that, even though, as you can see, it does it via external programs. And then for a conclusion, instead of just saying, as you did, you can use WinZip to access almost, you want to amplify that a little bit. In fact, WinZip's versatile file support gives you access to almost, it should be to almost, all the files you download from the internet. Okay, again, these are just little words and just ways of phrases that kind of amplify the feeling of the user that he's getting, or the reader rather, that he's getting something that's very valuable. And that's really the main idea of Marcom. It's to take facts and to dress them up a little bit without without distorting them, but to dress them up a bit so that people feel the value that they're getting, more than if you just stated the fact stum. Okay, and then the last thing, you said something, WinZip takes it one step further. By the way, that's a nice thing to say. That it selects that, but instead of just stating it, which is a fact, why don't we make it a little bit more significant and more valuable seeming by saying something like, and if you're confused as to which compression method to select, WinZip takes it one step further and will even select. You see, because saying it will select the best compression method for you implies that you want that to happen, that's something that you're running into problems with, figuring out what to do. So if you put a sentence like this at the beginning, and if you're confused as to which compression method to select, you've actually kind of prepared the reader for the value of what's to come. And that's basically what I'm talking about here. Okay, and here, here I just also revised it a bit. I think this could be all one sentence. I think it would just be smoother. On top of this, WinZip has also been upgraded to support the latest Windows features have to offer, such as longer file engine support for the tight integration. Long sentence, but I think it better than saying WinZip does this by. This just kind of slows everything down and makes it seem more formal again. And then to sum it up at the end, instead of to sum it up, again, we wanted to have a little bit more snappy Marcom language, so we can say, conclusion, there's no reason to invest in an expensive high-end compression utility. WinZip gets the job done more efficiently and with greater ease than any other file compression currently on the market, and at little cost, or something like that. I don't know. This is just my rendition. You can try another one, but you get the idea. A little bit more jazzed up, a little bit more Marcom-y, a little bit more snappy. Okay? But in general, you did a good job. I'm not saying it was actually an adequate job. You did okay. I'm just trying to show you how you could make it even better.